positive.
All right, welcome everybody to Dave Cooper Live Expert Interview. It is Monday and it is time to kick this week off. Right before the holiday season, we are going to have some amazing guests and you can't believe what's going to come up for next year. So, is the construction sector breaking, broken, or frozen? We've heard several theories on why productivity in the construction industry is stagnant, 3 of which include it's broken. And the assumption is that an innovative and or disruptive force will fix it. It's breaking. That's number 2. We haven't hit rock bottom yet, therefore no real solution is clear. We just have to fight like wild things swimming against the tide of inefficiencies. Number 3, it's frozen. It's stuck in time. Modern best practices haven't been able to penetrate the protective force field, otherwise known as "this is the way we have always done it" syndrome. So what's the lesson here? One could be taken from Disney, I suppose. The highest grossing animated films of all time, and did you know it was also directed by Jennifer Lee, the first woman ever to direct a Disney animated feature film. Just 18 months before Frozen was due to release, the film had numerous issues. The characters weren't likable. There were significant plot holes, had predictable plot twists, and the main characters weren't telling a cohesive story. The pressure was on. Best-selling business books have narrowed the turnaround results to some basic fundamentals. Lesson number 1, use emotions and experiences to generate new ideas. Well, what does that mean? Lean into where you have been, what you have experienced, and apply those lessons to new ideas for an award-winning result. The takeaway here? Don't go it alone and collaborate with someone who knows the space if you don't have firsthand knowledge of the problems you are trying to solve. Now, does this mean a great idea from an out-of-industry expert can make it? No. It just means that you may want to run your idea by a few industry experts to make sure it passes the sniff test. Lesson number 2, be open to new ideas. If the same old formula hasn't worked for others, why will it work for you? And lesson number 3, sometimes the leading characters break the mold. Elsa and Anna were sisters. Yes, there was a romantic suitor and a goofy snowman, but it was the woman who smashed the glass ceiling to make this the highest grossing animated film of all time. So with that, let's get into some best of moments with our Dave Cooper Live guests and see how they are breaking the mold. Find new formulas for success and working together to help us all build it better. But first, we are unable to deliver all these informative conversations to you without our sponsors. So a big shout out to Carson Holmquist and the team at Stream Logistics. They are experts in high stake freight and the perfect choice for projects with timelines and specific delivery sequence, shipments with high complexity and unique constraints. The new methods of construction need new transportation solutions, and they are up for the challenge. Visit them at streamlogistics.com. And then we got our good friends CombiLift, the largest global manufacturer of multi-directional forklifts and straddle carriers. They are a leader in long load handling solutions, offering a free warehouse and site optimization design service. CombiLift helps companies of all sizes and from every industry maximize the capacity, safety, and efficiency of their warehouse and storage facilities. Reach out to Paul Short and the team at CombiLift at combilift.com if you want to build it better. And we need the robotics. We need the tech. That's why we have Brave Control Solutions. We're offsite manufacturing systems that do more than just improve productivity. They have a unique approach to industrialized construction, a lineup of flexible automation systems specifically designed for the construction industry and powered by CAD to Fab, and turnkey solutions for 3D volumetric assembly, structural insulated panels, finished wall assemblies, MEP component processing, assembly kitting, and storage. Learn more at thinkbrave.com. All right, one last shout out. Thanks to all of our sponsors out there. We could not do this without any of you any given day or time during the week. So with that said, everybody, welcome to our expert interview today. We are going to run through what happened this past week. We're going to touch on some of the highlights, and then we're going to get into what is coming up this week and next week. We got some pretty big heavy hitters coming on the show, and next year is turning out to be amazing as we have pretty much booked ourselves out. So super excited about all of this today. So what did we do this past week? Where did we start our journey this past week? Well, we started with our good friend Gian Conger, who is the broker chief client officer at On3. And what are we going to learn from Gian Conger today? We're going to have some lessons learned from Frozen. That's right. If you didn't pick it up in the opening monologue, Frozen was definitely one of the lessons that we are going to be talking about. So, Gian, we are looking forward to hearing more of her story. So let's get into it. Let me put the first video up here. Let's give you some highlights of what you have missed this past week.
Being frozen as an industry means that, we're good enough. We ain't broke, so we don't need to fix it. And Disney, the play on Frozen for them as well was their business model was always A to B, B to C, C to D, and they followed a critical path, just like home builders follow a critical path. What they determined, though, is that it just wasn't working, so they made little shifts in their process. As they made shifts in their process, their movie evolved. So not only did it meet the larger criteria for a movie, but they ended up with female heroines who weren't just saved by the traditional love of a prince loved a princess and saved her from some kind of catastrophe, but it was sisters who proved that being frozen can open you up to new possibilities. And love conquered all and unfroze the movies so that you got to a logical conclusion that was much bigger than anything Disney had done. And not coincidentally, it was their highest grossing movie ever. And we're still talking about it how many years later?
Right. I mean, and it's a good movie, by the way. Yeah, so Frozen, who would have thought, all the lessons learned in the movie Frozen. Gian Conger was an amazing guest, and we're going to go through a couple other things, because not only did we talk about Frozen and the business applications that came along with the movie Frozen and how she's relating some of these things, but we also get into some of the other businesses that she's part of. She's part of some pretty high-tech stuff, which I'm super excited to share with everybody out there as well. So, with that said, Monday's expert interview, like a lot of our shows, I mean, these guests that are coming on have so much experience. They have so much knowledge, and they're super excited to always share that experience and knowledge. And that's great for all of us, no matter what we're doing and when we're doing it. So let's move on to the next conversation here with Gian, and we'll go from there. perspective as what's going to take the industry to the next level when it comes to technology, comes to innovation, and how do we get people interested and excited to be back in this industry? Because that's the big thing, right? How do we get the brightest minds coming back into this industry, and how do we get them excited about, the trades?
Yeah, and this is probably an unpopular answer because again, we're not broken. We don't need to be fixed necessarily. But the key is if you look at, again, I'll reference that Pro Builder housing forecast, they gave statistics on the age of the average industry personnel in their 40s and or median age. So median is a halfway point. It's not even average. So if 45 is the halfway point of the age of the people in the industry, we're in big trouble unless we can attract that younger generation and then give them the ability to make changes and to disrupt. So the Toyota business model, I guess this is business model day. And one of the reasons they are so successful is that they empower their employees to make decisions based on whether or not you are a janitor or you're the CEO of that factory. You can make a decision and you can pull, I think they call it an on-don cord, that you can pull the cord and stop the line. Now, every second that the line is down costs a tremendous amount of money.
Well, that's something we definitely all know about is every time the line is down, it costs a lot of money. And again, this is getting back into culture and empowering the employees to build it better. Also empowering the employees to bring their ideas, share their thoughts, or stop something when it does not look right or isn't going to meet code or is a defect or just isn't done to the quality and the standards that you expect it to be. I don't know how many of you are listening today that work in a manufacturing facility, own a manufacturing facility, or are looking to build one. But this is a really important lesson to learn. How do you employ people that you can empower decision-making processes to all the way down to the person who actually cleans up, sweeps the floor, takes out the garbage, all the way up to the CEO, vice president, CEO, COO, marketing officials, whatever the case is. Let us know what you're doing in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're empowering your employees to build it better. All right, here's the last portion of how Jeannie Conger is empowering her employees that she works with, or her people, her consultants, anybody that's out there. But this is what she decided to do. She decided to become part of a company called On3, which is a learning platform that is taking learning to the next level. And as Jennifer would say, I sounded like an infomercial when we had her on the show because I am a partner with this at Dave Cooper Live. And I say we as a team here, I believe in it that much. This is something that can really change our industry and how we bring people in and how we train people. So here's a little inside look at it for you. Let's take it from here. He goes, don't be an infomercial here. And I'm like, but I'm not. I love this stuff. And I want everybody to really understand that, I look forward to actually really helping, put the word out there for On3, because this is exactly what we need. It's in the educational space. It helps all of us learn how to build it better, with the new technology, and it gets everybody in, our industry. And these are the people that have already adopted using it. And I think this is just, for a startup, that's pretty impressive. No, did you just sit there and just go, oh my God, I can't believe we have this many people already. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been incredible and it's been well received. It's not, we're still learning and growing. And earlier we talked about the word pivot. I think not just pivotal that we're here, but having the ability to learn from every single one of those clients is key because
having the ability to learn from all these clients, part of their platform is sharing knowledge and growth. There's also a part of the platform that is looking and using AR and VR, Google lenses, hard hats with it on. But then there's the app. You go, all right, another app. But the reality of it is, their app is something that doesn't need internet. And once you have your specific training module set up, and when I say that, this isn't a one size fits all, this is very specific to you and your organization. All of a sudden, the team is on the same page when it comes to understanding the quality of the process, how it works, how to install it. It's all there. It's video based. Give you an example. It's in 4 languages. Maybe you're not a good test taker. Well, guess what? In this app, you can video yourself doing whatever the procedure is you need to do on that manufacturing or out in the field or on a roof, whatever the case is, and show them that you know how to do it versus writing it down and taking a test. There's all kinds of amazing stuff. And imagine what's going to happen with the technology, the AR, VR, their hard helmets with lenses on it, what that's going to do if you understand that technology. It is going to the next level. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to celebrating with them at the International Builders Show next month, right? Already January, Vegas. Who's going? Hope to see you guys out there. I will be out there. All right. So what did we do on Wednesday? We took a trip to the other side of the world, 3D printed houses. Now, this isn't just normal 3D printing. We've had these on before. We've had, Black Buffalo. I visited Icon out in Texas and talked to them about their 3D printed homes. But imagine a company that's looking at 3D printing a little bit differently. They're not looking at it with your typical upside down U-shaped gantry type printing system that runs on a track. Nope. They've invented a system that can be unloaded and set up in just a few minutes on a job site, has off-road wheels. It's more like a crane setup, and you can use it in very rural areas. That's right, rural areas. And also, imagine if you could print houses using mud, not concrete, mud, not clay. Clay's like a mud, though. But mud. Imagine the difference that makes. They're working on a very important proprietary solution that's going to allow them to do that. So if you're not familiar with Ahmed Mahil, who is the founder and CEO of Luton, well, now's your chance. I'm going to do you a quick introduction here. This is Wednesday's Product Spotlight. Here's an inside look for you.
My name is Ahmed Mahil, and I'm the CEO of and the president of Luton 3D. We are a company that manufactures large-scale 3D concrete printers. Our mission and objective is to automate robotics in general. At this stage, we feel the emphasis on 3D printing is something that would be in our best interest. We look to make printers more agile, more deployable, and sometimes we take on projects to print them directly rather than just equip companies with printers. But we believe we could do better and serve better if we just get better performing robots. Yeah.
They're looking at things a little bit different. Like, how do you perform better with better performing robots, right? This is one of the things that they're looking at doing it a little bit differently than some of the other companies that are out there. And not only with the way their machines work, but they're also looking at using different proprietary printing solutions, such as mud, which is super exciting. So something we need to be keeping an eye on what Luton is doing. Here's a little bit more from Ahmed and what he had to say on what they're working on some of this proprietary solutions, and also how this could make a big difference in the supply chain. So let's check it out.
There are not enough builders and they can't get the materials. So when you reduce the amount of things that you need to, or trades to build a wall, whether it's a cinder block or it's a brick and mortar, or even color bond and plaster boards directly and cladding, there are many systems to build those things. You replace all of that with one machine and one material. In the best case scenario, you can just dig some raw earth and print with that. but that is not what happens every time. This is still experimental. But also still, if you can reduce the supply chain to one material, which is structural mortar or concrete,
Yep.
then you've saved yourself a lot of trouble.
Imagine if you could reduce the shell to one material, whether it's concrete or what have you, mud in some cases, as he was alluding to, and not a lot talk a whole lot about on the show. But it's a really viable solution. Where do you think concrete printing fits into the future here? What are the solutions? Is it a viable option, especially as the cost comes down and the use of different materials goes up? What is the viable solution to this? I'd love to hear your opinions on that as well. Okay, so that was Wednesday's product spotlight. So learn more about 3D printing. And if you're not connected with Ahmed, reach out to Ahmed. Super responsive guy, and enjoy the conversation with him. Very smart. Friday, Joe Konatopaki was on our show. That is right. He is one of the most advanced building inspectors that we know. And why do I say that? He takes his inspections to a whole new level when he's working with clients, and he talks about what indoor air quality is about. Now, we spent a lot of time talking about air barriers or house wraps and all of those things. We talked a lot about insulating and ductwork and attic enclosure and keeping things within the conditioned space and what have you. But one of the things that we really talked about as well was new construction. How safe is new construction? Do occupants in newly constructed buildings really know how to operate their new home based on the new codes? Because a building today is built a lot more airtight, a lot more energy efficient than buildings were built back in the 70s. Here's some inside conversation on with Joe Konatopaki that we had from BS Friday. Check it out.
This is one of the things I tell builders is when you build a new house, put an air quality monitor in there as soon as you get the place cleaned up, get yourself a week or two of data before the people move in. Because when people move into tight houses, they still live in there like it's a drafty house. And they don't realize that whatever funk you bring in is sticking around a lot longer in that new house, right? And then they start complaining about air quality concerns, and they said, "Oh, the problem is you, builder, and this new house you built for us." In the meantime, they've shut off the ventilation system because they don't appreciate the value that it's bringing to them. And telling the builders, I'm like, this way, with an air quality monitor, you've got data that says, hey, air quality looked great until the 18th. What happened on the 18th? Oh, that's the day we moved in. So unfortunately, we kind of funk up the place,
We funk up the place. This is going to be a really, really big issue moving forward that needs to be addressed in a big way. And I think the reason we need to address this is our bodies all release carbon monoxide, right? I mean, you can shut the door in your bedroom. If you have one of those AirAwares, and we just got one for our house, and it, all of a sudden it gets addicting because you're looking at these things and you say, well, I don't need all that much extra stuff to do in my life. But you're going to really start to realize how when you cook, when you sleep, when you shut your kids' bedroom doors, how much the carbon monoxide goes up in their space. And I think that knowing that and understanding that and how it impacts you mentally, physically, are you tired or you just need fresh air? Is the CO2 bringing you down or you just need fresh air? All of these different things, what an impact it has. And this was what was so great about talking with Joe, because Joe is an expert on this. He knows it inside and out. I've been saying for a long time, maybe you're not sick. Maybe your kids don't have allergies. Maybe that migraine headache isn't a health thing. Maybe that's all coming from the poison and the gas that could become in your house, right? The bacteria, the mold, the things that build up in your house. This is what's so interesting about BS Friday. I'm not saying that is what's happening, so let's get a disclaimer out there. But boy, when you talk to these experts from around the world and you start understanding about the structures we live in and the structures we build each and every day, it really makes you start to wonder, Do we have something involved in this? And if we do, how can we control it? How can we make everything better for not only ourselves, but the occupants, our kids? And that's one of the things that we got to cover with Joe. So here's another last tidbit with Joe, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what is coming up next week.
Air quality in new construction homes can go poor very quickly because of how tight the house is. So an air quality monitor is an objective measure of the air quality in that house. And, you know, to be able to get some data before people move in is huge. So the equipment mix in a new house is going to be different than an existing home. So the house you grew up in had a big furnace, a big AC. Sometimes they don't have exhaust fans. They might not even have, may not even have a humidifier yet. On the other side of the scale, the spectrum, when we have those airtight, well-insulated houses, the biggest piece of equipment in that house might be the ERV fresh air exchange.
Yeah. Right.
Most important piece of equipment is going to be a dehumidifier, because we are generating funky air and we generate humidity. So as soon as people move in, you got to manage air quality and you got to manage humidity. Then, because the house is so airtight and insulated, we need a little bit of heat and we need a little bit of cooling,
A little bit of heat and a little bit of cooling. So if you're not really familiar with the building science side of this, guess what? If you have everything adjusted within your home the way it needs to be adjusted, and you want that heat and cooling to work right, you got to make sure you have the humidity level set. The humidity plays such a big part in everything that you do in your house. And it really plays a big part in how comfortable you feel in your house when you're sleeping, when you're working, no matter what it is. And when you listen to part of this show with Joe, and he talks about his family and his kids, and when they were making some changes to the humidity and the way they adjusted everything, he found his kids were running around in sweatshirts in the summertime, and the house was set at like 72 degrees or something. He's like, well, I gotta turn that air conditioning down a little bit more, or turn it up, I guess, so it doesn't go off. So there's some really great lessons here that'll save you money and help you live and breathe healthier in your homes. All right, so what do we have coming up? This is pretty cool stuff. I'm going to make a switch here on my sites. We have Urban Machine Build coming up on Wednesday. Now, what does that mean for all of you out there? Get this. Imagine there is a robot. That's right, a robot that shows up on your property, and you're tearing down the demolition of a house, and you throw this wood into the robot, and that robot not only scans it, it plucks all the nails out, all the metal pieces out, and salvages all of that lumber. Does it exist? Well, you have to tune in on Wednesday and find out. But I'm telling you now, it does exist, and they are coming out of stealth mode, and the beauty of it is, we're going to talk about it right here on Dave Cooper Live. So Urban Machine, these are the machines that are going to be changing how we salvage our stuff on site. What I mean by that, the wood, the lumber, all of those things. So you're going to want to have to tune in to learn a little bit more about what we are doing. We are salvaging the past to build the future. And we will show you a little bit about what's going on with this. You'll see also in the press, if you go to their site, you can actually get some glimpses of this machine. And we're going to talk about this machine on what we do here, so you guys can see how it works. But it's super, super cool stuff. I can't wait to have the founders and the CEO on the show this Wednesday. But there's a little glimpse of it. Now, this is not the one in the field, but there is a field model that they're working on as well that'll be out there. And as you can see, it scans it and it plucks everything out of it. Who out there could use this on their job site? Anybody? I know I could have used it, man. Just about every other house in a busy area gets torn down and put back up. So I see a lot of you out there today. So I cannot. I can't speak either. I see a bunch of you out there today. So I will get to your comments in just a moment. But check how cool this machine is. I see Greg Ugaldi there, Connor Dillon. Hey, what's up, fellas? I hope you guys are all well. And I also think I saw Bob McCarter out there. Could you guys use this on your job site? I know you're up in in New England there, Greg Ugaldi. How many demolitions you got to do through the years, right? Or structures falling down, or I know you're always working on how do you rehabilitate, areas that have been run down or people have moved out of. This machine is part of that solution. So we're super excited to have them on this week. Definitely. So we have Wednesday, the 14th, 1 p.m. Eric Law, CEO, will be on talking about urban machines. So stay tuned for that. And let's not forget about next week as well. Next week, we have Todd Bayreuther on. Any of you know Todd out there? You don't? You should. You should know Todd. Looking forward to have him on. We're going to be talking about Mass Timber. I'm going to switch out. I'll show you their website as well, just so we have it here, and you guys can visualize what that is as well. Give me 1 second, and I will open this link up for you. Somebody out there could invent me a system that allows all this stuff to pop up. I would be so thankful. Here we go. All right, let's put it up on the screen here. So Mercer, check this out. We're going to be talking about Mass Timber. That is right. We're going to be talking about Mass Timber with Todd Bayreuther. Todd has been in this industry for quite some time, so let's be very, very clear here. Mass Timber, he knows it very well. Education, he knows it very well. Universities, I mean, this guy is doing it all, and it's going to be super excited to have him on. He is going to be on December 21st. We're going to be talking with Todd. Where are we going with this? Where is the sustainability side of this? Let's talk about the livable communities and what they are doing. We just recently ran into them at Greenbuild. That's right. IWBC in Greenbuild event in San Francisco, which, by the way, for all of you East Coasters, going to be in Washington, D.C. this upcoming year. So in 2023. So I'm super, super excited about that. I love it. So don't forget also, I know it, Jennifer. I know it. We got Connor Dillon is also going to be on this Friday. So we're super excited to have Connor on. I just see Connor's here. I just remember hearing a story about a dad. Let me go back here. About a dad who woke up in the middle of the night with his kid passed out next to his bed. He was very disorientated and managed to pull his family out and save them. Had a gas leak and no monitors. Yeah, very, it's scary, Dylan, right? And for those of you who don't know Dylan has been on our show in the past, and super excited to have him back on in the future as well. Oh, Jen said Connor. Crap, it's Connor Malay. Looked at the banner. Sorry. So we got too many Connors here. So Connor, if you don't know Connor Dillon, one of the youngest passive house guys out there. Connor, I can't remember. I asked you every time, but he was like 12 months old when he got his passive house certification. The guy is super, super awesome. But this BS Friday, you're right, Jen. We got Connor Malloy on, is diving into buildings. But Connor Dillon has also been on our show many, many, many times. Oh, I'm messing everything up here. Dylan Ingui, Connor Malloy. I am a mess today, guys. All right, let's keep this show on the road. Getting my people. Connor Dillon, thank you very much. So he opted to reduce the number of things that can kill me in my house. So what did you opt to do, Connor? I'd love to know. What did you opt to do, Connor? I would definitely love to know. I'm speaking out of people. I'm getting all my Inguis and Dillons and everybody mixed up. So my apologies today on the live here. So let us know what you did. I really would like to know. Dave and Jen, good idea to do a recap and to provide a look forward. Hey, appreciate that, Greg Ugaldi. Always a pleasure having you. Yes, it is. It's a Monday. Hey, Connor, you have no idea. You had no idea. Last week, we had everybody down with flu and everything else in our house. So I definitely am happy that it is a new week this week. But my head is all over the place playing catch up like everybody else. He said no gas, all electric. So really, so you made a switch. You got rid of all the gas in your building and switched to all electric. That's super cool. Good for you. Good for you. I think a lot of people should be looking at that these days, right? I mean, the fossil fuel side of this, not only, and I am not beating down that drum on do away with fossil fuels by any stretch, but it has been proven over and over again the value of the electric use in a house. Can you imagine? People used to hate electric baseboard and all these things that we had, but it's becoming more efficient now than it ever has on everything from cooking and what have you. So, all right, listen. So that is the recap. What a week, right? Jeannie Conger, we had Jeannie on. We talked about On3 and the On3 learning app that we were taking a look at, the platform. If you're not familiar with On3, reach out to me. I will definitely make a connection for you if you want to learn more about that. So definitely do that. Wednesday product spotlight, we had Luton 3D printers on our show, so it was good to see you for that as well. I mean, if you want to learn about how to use 3D printing, you want to learn about the machines that are becoming more cost effective, and they're looking at it much differently today on how they can work. So it's not such a big setup and can only take minutes versus hours and several people. Then you want to take a look at Luton. They are also studying how to use mud, and they have some technology pending that looks like it may allow them to make that happen. And then, of course, you cannot forget about Joe on BS Friday. Learn more about everything that we have going on BS Fridays, because you're going to learn how to live better. You're going to learn how to build better. You're going to learn about the new products, the more efficient products, the sustainable products, and the healthier products that we use each and every day. So make sure you tune in for that. And then again, this Wednesday, let's not forget, you want to check it out. You want the machine, Urban Machine, that takes the nails out of the wood. How cool is that, Connor, right? That is super cool. I guess I got to get the Anguiz on this one as well. But how cool is that? This Wednesday, 1 p.m., you want to tune in to learn more about this machine. And also, Mercer Mass Timber, LLC with Todd Bayreuther next Wednesday. That's right, next Wednesday, December 21st. So we got some big shows coming up, and then we're going to take a break for the holidays in January. We're going to recoup, get the mind working again since I'm all over the place today, and make this happen. So there you have it, everybody. That was the recap for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Go watch all these episodes. I do this so you can get a couple of the bullet points that be like, yeah, that's worth going to check out. So go check it out. You're going to learn something. You might even be able to improve the way you live in your home or how you recruit and train new people within your business. I'm Dave Cooper. It's Monday. It's a day to go out and build it better. It's a day to start something new. Let's get to it. I'm Dave Cooper. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.